Okay, so it seems that people like the movie reviews, even though they'll get no views compared to all my other videos. But today we're continuing the Star Wars series, yes, because I didn't finish the Jurassic Park series reviews, so I'll do them later. But today we're continuing to talk about Star Wars. We're going into the good Star Wars films, yes, the original trilogy, Star Wars 4: A New Hope. Basically, it's hard to spoil a film that practically everybody has seen. So unless you're living under a rock or just refuse to watch Star Wars, with those two types of people who haven't seen this film, people who are living under a rock and refuse to watch anything that's TV or some movie related, people who hate movies in general, people who hate action movies, and people who just told do not want to see this movie. So you can't really spoil the plot, since really all the people who are watching this have already seen the movie, so there won't be no spoilers on like the prequels, because prequels have less people who watch them, and everybody practically seen the original trilogy, but not the prequels. But basically, I'll summary up the Civil War. There's a Civil War happening. Rebel spies have stolen planets with Death Star. A space station can destroy planets. Where basically hides the planet R2-D2. R2-D2 and C-3PO escape to Tatooine. The Jawas capture them. Luke buys them from the Jawas. They play a message in his home, and then R2-D2 just runs off. They have to find him the next day. Sand people attack Luke and droids, and Obi-Wan comes, of course, saves him from them. And Obi-Wan also sees runs with the message and tells Luke Skywalker about the Force. And then he goes to see his family, but they're dead by the stormtroopers. And of course, Obi-Wan tells him about Vader, who killed his father. But we later find out that Vader is his father. Luke views Vader's complete mess. No, Luke, of course, decides to warn the ways of the Force. They go to the city. They go meet Han Solo and the Cantina and his Wookiee Chewbacca, and of course they go and find. They agree to go on the ship. They discover that Alderaan one was destroyed. The officer so the man to sign of power. And then they get captured by a Death Star. They get captured. They go rescue Leia. But Obi-Wan just goes off and does something. So basically, Obi-Wan never knows that. And then Obi-Wan basically sacrificed himself so Darth Vader does not find him. He tells himself to the Force, even though he could just easily just teleport to them. Can the Force teleport people? I still don't know if they can. But basically, Obi-Wan just dies. He's dead. They basically let him escape so they can find the rebel base. The rebels go, of course, analyze the plans. The Death Star is destroyed by the Luke and his rebel squadron. Han collects the payment and intends to leave. But in the battle, they're unsuccessful, so Solo saves Luke at the last moment, and then Luke uses the Force to destroy the Death Star seconds before it can fire on the rebel base. On the other for Luke and Han are awarded for medals. So Star Wars is a classic movie about a farm boy becoming a strong guy, and Darth Vader is a mysterious villain. Of course, if you watch the other films, you'll know that Darth Vader is, and of course, especially if you watch the prequels, you'll know who Darth Vader is. And the prequels are before that. But unlike the prequels, the characters are all good and all believable. Sometimes the characters in the prequels are just awful. Jar Jar is the first thing that comes to mind. And Count Dooku, the most boring Star Wars villain ever. The villain Darth Vader, he's there, but he is not a boring villain. He's a cool villain. He is basically introduced to be the bad guy. We don't know much about him, and we're supposed to find more about him throughout the movie. He's one of those mysterious villains, but he's always there, unlike Count Dooku, who was literally introduced into the second film just as a replacement for Darth Maul, because he died. But we're going to be talking about there was some bad part, there were some like poor writing moments and stuff, and of course this film was edited, altered throughout the times and stuff. and released like 500 times. And it was included as the 50 films that you see as age of 14. I didn't see it until age of 17 because I was stubborn. I only watched really crappy kids films. That was a really, really bad time. And basically, all the characters, probably except for probably Guido, who dies anyways for like and only appears for a few seconds, and of course that gross Jabba the Hutt. All the characters are all very, very likable, and there's no real unlikable characters throughout the films. And the other two films, with the exception of Jabba the Hutt and his gross, creepy minions, are all the characters in the first three films are kind of likable, and are not characters that you could hate, probably besides Darth Sidious, who basically almost kills Luke Skywalker in the sixth film. And basically, this is a classic film, and it's hard to hate classic films unless they're kind of really boring. Like another film that came out before then, another sci-fi film that came out before then. I do hate some critically acclaimed films like The Incredibles. I don't like that film. But a lot of critically acclaimed films, they're critically acclaimed because everybody likes them. There's not really many people who hate them. And actually, guess who's the one who literally turned down the film that owns Star Wars now? Disney. So yes, Disney, you could have owned Star Wars 40 years earlier if you didn't turn down the film. Kind of stupid now, but that's Disney being Disney, of course. People actually thought this movie was not going to be a success, of course. And they were wrong, of course, because now we have 8 films and like 80,000 spin-offs and other cartoons and TV shows playing Star Wars into DVDs like Family Guy, Phineas and Ferb, and Thumb Wars. Yeah, remember Thumb Wars? But the story of Star Wars is good. The characters are great. Everything, with a few exceptions, is a great movie. The best scenes of the movie were the Death Star secret scene, the Death Star battles, and of course the battle where they save. They got Princess Leia from the Death Star ship, and from them, Stormtroopers basically killing her. Even though Darth Vader should have known, but the film, there aren't really plot holes because the prequels were not made, so it was kind of like a simple story. That's why 5 and 6 are way better, because they kind of expand greatly on Star Wars. This was kind of a simple film, and I respect it for being a simple film. And it also became the highest grossing film of all time until E.T. passed it. And E.T. was not as great as everybody says it was as well. So what will be the final score of Star Wars A New Hope? I would give it a solid 9 out of 10. Easily a great film that you should probably... And, like, this is the original Star Wars, not the new garbage Star Wars, of course, that is made by Disney. Like The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. This is the original Star Wars, the OG ones. And there are people who say even the prequels are bad ones. I think the prequels are all right films themselves. They're just expansions on, if you want to know, they're just film expansions to me of what happened in the past before the first Star Wars films. They're kind of like expansions. Lots of movies do this. Alien did this as well and got backlash, like Prometheus and Covenant. Lots of films really do this, and people don't really like them as much, but they're kind of there for the fans, so people can know what happens before the films. So, Star Wars was a good film. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And there are lots of great science fiction movies out there, but I don't really think 2001: Space Odyssey is the best science fiction ever. That really honor goes towards Terminator 2 or Blade Runner.